basis.
I mean, this one that we're doing tonight seems so straightforward. They have 50 acres and they're plopping it in the middle.
Yeah,
I just don't know that it's worth going through all that.
just offhand, I don't see why we need an engineer and the applicant to incur more cost. I mean, nobody can see that thing, that's for sure.
Exactly. I did a couple of those where we didn't bother with an engineer because for the same reason, you couldn't see it from the road, so it was the big deal.
Yeah, okay. So we just declare ourselves lead agency and set a public hearing, right?
Yeah, I think that's all we have to do, and
Okay.
they can get, oh.
Oop.
Hi, Arlene.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. We can hear you and we can see you. Hi, Dean.
I think Dean just.
you.
How are you? All right, you're still in the dark. When are you going to come out?
I
I
don't
got
know.
one more light on. I put another light in.
I saw. It's a big improvement.
Yeah.
You still look like creepy guy though, Art.
Creepy art. Uh-oh.
Good.
Four people in the waiting room. Three.
We need Jerry and Justin.
Justin's here.
Justin's here.
Oh, okay.
We need Jerry though, because he's first.
He's first.
We got Sherry.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
We see your Windows Explorer. We just see your file list. We do not see an image. We see your.
You see my file?
we just see the list.
We just see the list.
You have to open it.
I'm opening it. Do you see it now or no?
No, it's not opening.
Nope.
Oh, sure. How's it now?
There
There
you
we go.
Very good.
We have 7 people in the waiting room. I don't know who they are.
How about Jerry? That's what we need.
Jerry's here.
Jerry's
Oh,
here.
you can. Okay.
We just snuck in.
Like to call the Town of Clinton Planning Board meeting to order at 7:32 on Tuesday, November 17th. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1, issued on March 12th, 2020, suspending the open meetings law and emergency state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings, the Town of Clinton Planning Board, scheduled for November 17th, 2020, will be held electronically via Zoom instead of a public meeting open for the public to attend in person. Members of the public may view the board meeting as it is live streamed on YouTube, www.townofclinton.com/government/planning-board/videos/ A transcript of the meeting will be posted on the town's website at a later date. The first item on the agenda is the area variance for Forschler. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Will do.
Okay. Is anybody here for that?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Can you identify yourself?
I'm Stephen Forschler and my wife Beth is here as well.
Okay, hi there.
How you doing?
This is a two-step process. The planning board will review your application and make a recommendation to the zoning board of appeals, either a yay, nay, or neutral recommendation, and then they make the final decision on your variance. So if you can briefly tell us what you're doing, and then we'll go from there.
Well, we are looking to put a 2-car garage, 24 by 24, at the top of our driveway.
Okay. That's it. Jerry?
Yes,
Jerry, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Do you have anything for the applicant?
No, I'm familiar with the property and I've reviewed the application in detail. And I prepared a motion if no one else has any questions at this point.
Okay, yeah, does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
You do see that it's very close to one property line on the one side there.
Yep.
which is variance.
Yep.
Okay, Jerry, do you want to go ahead with your resolution?
Okay, I will. I'd like to motion that the planning board approve the following resolution. Be it resolved, the planning board is making a positive, neutral, negative recommendation for approval to the town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals on the requested area variance to section 250-23 for a side yard setback reduction to 16 feet for a 24 by 24 detached garage from the required 50-foot. The property owned by Stephen and Beth Forschler, located at 85 Maple Lane, tax code number, would be zone number, in an AR5 zone. The applicant wishes to construct a 24 by 24 foot accessory structure within the 50-foot side yard setback made necessary by the location of the driveway and the grade of the property, preventing an increase in the side yard setback to more than 16 feet. The applicant is seeking a variance from section 250-23 as stated above. This is a 0.99 acre site located in the AR5 zoning district. The property is not located within the Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Preservation Overlay District. It's not in an ag district or CEA. It's know that is area variance is a type 2 of action under seeker, requires no further action. The site is on a Clinton Scenic and Historic Road, that being Maple Lane, must conform to local law number 3 of 2001. There's no DEC wetland present. With this lot line reduction, an undesirable change will not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties or similar structures exist on nearby properties. Existing vegetation barriers and distance of neighbors' primary dwellings will minimize the impact. The benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by any other feasible method. The requested variance is substantial. There will be no potential adverse effect on or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. The alleged difficulty is self-created. The application fee has been paid for the zoning enforcement officer. That there are no known violations associated with this property. A consent form is signed by the owners is on file with the building zoning clerk. The planning board has received a letter of support from Robin Novak, who shares the property line with the Forschlers, which is the subject of this variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the town of Clinton Planning Board, unless there's objections to the contrary, I would recommend a positive recommendation for approval to the town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second,
Discussion? Okay, all in favor, and just mention your name when you vote. Art, yes.
Jack, Jack, yes.
Sarah, yes.
Tracy, yes.
Justin, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so moved. Okay, you're all set. Just go, you'll be going to the, Arlene will give you the information. You'll be going to the zoning board with a positive recommendation from the planning board.
Thank you. And that meeting is 12/3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, the first Thursday.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's it. You're all set.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Have a good evening.
Thank
Okay, take care. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, next Next item on the agenda is the Dempsey area variance. Is anybody here for this application? Okay,
Hello.
hi there. You here for the Dempsey
Yeah,
variance?
yep, I'm
Okay.
Ken Dempsey. Yep,
Okay, how you doing?
pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. Again, this is a two-step process. The planning board will give a recommendation to the zoning board of appeals on your application. It'll be a yes, no, or neutral. And then the zoning board will make the final decision on your variance. So if you can explain briefly what you're doing, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, you can see the picture of the lot. That's Bull's Head Road with the yellow line. I want to put a shed up on the upper left in the woods. It's about 80 feet from my house. It's, as you can see, 346 feet from the road, 187 feet from my one neighbor, Russell Bonk, and it's 238 feet from my other neighbor, John Colgero. It's almost 800 feet from the back. In the back, it's kind of an estuary. You know, you really can't do anything back in there and behind the house. So I decided to put it here because on one side of my home, on the east side, it's very sloped and I can't put it there. Up on the west side, I have utilities and then it's kind of ridges, hill up there. And, you know, kind of goes up. So, and then I have a fenced in backyard that goes from right about where that pole is, straight back almost 200 feet and then boxes around. I have a dog back there. And so it would be really hard for me to put it way in the back. So best place I could come up with without having any issues with the neighbors or whatever, and where it can't be seen, is up in the woods on the left coming down my driveway. You can't see it from the road. You can't see it from any other location because of the woods, you know. So it's going to be used to store my garden tractors. I have one of those big leaf vacuum things, and that's one of my big issues, trying to get that in my garage. So my garage is packed with all kinds of things, and I have to, you know, leave things outside. So I'm trying to get a shed. I don't have any other buildings on the property. This would be the first. So that's pretty much what I'm looking to do, is put a what they call a cottage shed. They sell them at Bayhorse, and you know, have a door on one end so I can drive the little tractors in there and then keep all my yard equipment in there so I can get out of my garage. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Justin?
Sure. Does anyone have any questions? I mean, the reason we're here is because the new accessory structure is located closer to the fronting road than the principal structure. As you can see, it's not by much. It's not going to be visible. There's a lot of other constraints, I think, that are, you know, make sense for the shed to be here. And so I didn't really see any issues with it. I don't know if anyone else has specific questions, but I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Sorry, Art.
The only issue here is that it's in front of the main structure, correct?
That's right.
It's Paul. In reading this 250-22 A3, it says no structure shall be project closer to the fronting street in the principal building on the lot or the required front yard setback for the district, whichever shall be less restrictive. So this isn't even close to the setback. So the way I read this is I don't, just my own view, I don't even know why this needs a variance. Because I think the point of this is that if you have a house that's very close
Yeah,
to the road, you want the, accessory structures behind it, but here it's saying whichever is less restrictive, which would be it's not in the front yard setback, meaning it's okay. I mean, that's just the way I'm reading it, but maybe I'm totally nuts. It's a good question.
I mean, if you had like maybe a 2-acre lot, it would be an issue, but this is almost, 13.5 acres. So this is a big wooded area up there, on the right side of the driveway. So,
Yeah, no, I'm even behind that. I'm saying I don't know why you even need to. I'm not saying you shouldn't get a variance. I'm saying I don't even think you need a variance, meaning I don't think you're in violation by putting it there.
yeah, I just did it. I'm trying to follow the rules of the town. So if, someday I sell this house or whatever, if I moved locally, maybe I'd take the shed with me, but say if I moved out of state or whatever,
Yeah,
I want to
I
make
just,
sure everything is legit,
I'm saying it is my own view. The board maybe is probably going to disagree. I think it is legit putting it there because the section says whichever option is less restrictive. So if you're not in the setback, even though you're in front of the house, you're 300 feet from the road. So, which is the less restrictive alternative? Well, you're not in the setback. So,
Yeah, I mean, Paul, I agree with, I think, what you think what the statute is supposed to say, but it doesn't really, like, the sentence doesn't really work, right? It's not that you shall project closer to the fronting street or, right, what's the or? Project closer to the required front yard setback? Like, those aren't two equal phrases.
yeah, I hear you. That's why I was kind of like hedging my bets a little bit. I completely agree with what you're saying. We can certainly send this along saying, we think it should be granted, and but I mean, my suggestion would be we're not even sure you need a variance, but if the ZBA thinks what you do, then I assume we would be positive on something like this. But that's I completely agree with what you're saying. I think what they were trying to say was if it's much closer situation to the road, then the building should be behind. But if it's way back like this, the section reverses itself and just you can't be in the setback. But they didn't really succeed.
Yeah,
Great.
I agree. I mean, so do you want me to, does it make sense to make a resolution and say, while we think it satisfies, this, like A3 because of this, to the extent that it doesn't, we hereby find as follows, or it
That
just
would
seems,
work for me. That would work for
I think
me.
that's the more conservative thing to do. I think that's.
Yeah.
Arlene?
So we have the same situation that went before the ZBA before. It's the same, I don't know if you remember the one in Silver Lake where he's putting up a garage and it's really like less restricted. The variance, the same situation in here. So I think to save the property owner some time with
Yeah,
the
no. That's
and publication fees and everything, I think it's
no. The CEO said he needs a variance, so I think
I know.
you're right. We have to send it along. I'm just editorializing
Yeah.
that I think it's maybe but I completely agree.
Yeah. Justin, why don't you, I think we kind of all agree on a positive resolution, and just note what you and Paul just went by. Just note that part of the zoning law, and I think that would be fine.
Okay, so here it is. Resolution of the Town of Clinton Planning Board making a positive recommendation to the ZBA on the requested variance, section 250-22A3 regarding accessory structures located closer to the fronting street than the principal building, as requested by Kenneth Dempsey on property located at 1074 Bulls Head Road, Clinton Corners, New York 12514, tax grid number in an AR5 zoning district. Whereas, I'll say the planning board notes that section 250-22A3 prohibits an accessory structure from being located closer to the fronting street than the principal, or the building on the lot or the required front yard setback for the district, whichever is less restrictive. Because the front yard setback is less restrictive in this case, we believe, the planning board believes that applies, and the accessory structure is not within the setback, and therefore this variance is unnecessary. To the extent the variance is unnecessary, however, the planning board hereby finds as follows. The applicant is requesting a variance to permit the construction of a 12 by 20 foot shed in a location that's closer to the fronting road than the principal structure on a 13.1 acre lot. The property is in an AR5 zoning district. The property is within the Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay District. The property is not in a CEA. The variance requested is not substantial, as the structure will be located to the side of and only a little in front of the house, and will be obstructed from view and will be set back from the road. An undesirable change will not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or be detrimental to nearby properties, as the accessory structure will not be visible from the road or neighboring properties. The proposed location will not result in any significant disturbance of the environment, and the benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method. The proposed variance should not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood. The alleged difficulty is self-created, but should not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the planning board is making a positive recommendation for the approval of this requested variance to the Clinton ZBA.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Should there, wait, Art, should there be something to the effect that us reading the law, we do not see a violation?
You mean that we don't think that this applies?
Just saying that there are no
The way
violations.
the law is written, there's really not a violation, since it is not within the setback.
Yeah, that was the first paragraph, Jerry, that I kind of ad-lib, but I start off by saying we believe that this section applies. It's not within this setback, so we don't think it needs a variance. But to the extent that we do need a variance, we find as follows.
You caught me sleeping, okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Art, yes?
Jack, yes.
Sarah, yes.
Tracy, yes.
Gary, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, yes.
Okay, so moved. Okay, Mr. Dempsey,
Yes.
you're all set.
Okay.
Arlene will get you set to go to the zoning board with a positive recommendation from the planning board.
Thank you, Art. Yeah, I see you have me a date of December 7th, I think it is.
December 3rd,
December what?
3rd, the first Thursday.
The first Thursday?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's, oh, so that's the 10th?
No,
No, December
3rd.
3rd. Okay, you got it. December 3rd. 7:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Arlene. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Fiero lot line adjustment. Do we have anybody here for that application? Did I lose everybody?
No, we're still here. I don't
Oh.
see.
No, I'm letting them in, but
Oh.
they haven't come in the meeting yet. Here we go.
Okay. Okay, do we have some folks in for the Fiero lot line adjustment?
We do.
Okay, just let us know who you are and explain briefly what you're doing.
Okay, I'm Debbie and Kevin is scrambling to get right back here. Hang on a second. I'm sorry. Here you go.
Okay.
And this is
Okay,
Kevin Vieira.
All right, explain briefly what you're doing and then we'll go from there.
Well, what we're doing is the property that we have next door to us, we are looking to take the 1.75 acre parcel that is behind both of us and add it to our present 1338 Center Road.
Okay, that's on the map. That is the parcel in blue there.
The parcel in blue is where we reside right now, correct?
Okay, and you're adding the parcel that is in yellow to that blue parcel. Is that correct?
Well, we're adding the parcel that goes behind us, not to the left of us. Yes, that in there.
The new configuration. This is the line
Lot
over
line.
here that was removed.
Yes.
Art, they were before the planning board before, and they went for a variance, and the variance was granted. So now they're coming back for the lot line. Paul will explain it.
Jack?
Yeah, we went through this in pretty good detail at our last meeting. We made a positive recommendation on the variance. The ZBA had the good sense to agree with us. And it seems to me at this point, it's kind of ministerial, and I have a short resolution that approves it. But if folks have questions or problems, I certainly would want to hear that.
I have a question on the map, not on the application itself. Never mind, I just answered my question. I just saw it. Okay.
See, this dotted line is the original configuration
Right.
over here. So now this is the new line. The orange and the blue one are the two final configuration. So Jack, if you want to summarize the variance that was granted about the acreage and the
What we went through and what the ZBA approved is these were both substandard lots. And we're not technically allowed to adjust the lot line without a variance. What the proposal does, as we discussed, is to make one lot it would now be conforming. It would be 3 acres, so it conforms. The other lot would be less, even more substantial, but both we and the ZBA felt that would be all right in the circumstances, since the other lot would be conforming, since it wouldn't affect the neighborhood or any of the other factors that we consider. And that's why we made the recommendation, and that's why the ZBA granted the variance.
So now we're doing the lot line, and you guys have to configure whether this is suffice and whether a Mylar could be done for this, not unless anything missing that you guys could think before a lot line could be approved.
Yeah, as I say, we discussed all these factors last time, as did the ZBA. So I think it's really pretty straightforward. I have a short resolution if.
Okay, Jack, why don't you go ahead with that?
Okay, whereas applicants Kevin and Deborah Fierro seek a lot line adjustment pursuant to sections 206.13 and 259.85K with respect to 2 adjacent properties they own at 1338 and 1346 Center Road in the town of Clinton, long numbers. This matter has been before the planning board before. On October 20th, we concluded that an area variance required because the properties involved were both substandard lots in their AR3 zone, and we made a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals in that regard. Our prior resolution is incorporated herein by reference. Thereafter, applicants went to the ZBA, which granted the variance. The planning board has received a copy of the ZBA's October 23, 2020 letter to applicants informing them of its decision. We have also received and reviewed an updated survey of the two properties dated October 20th, so showing the proposed lot line adjustment. Accordingly, and having discussed the factors required by sections 206.13 and 250.95K in our prior resolution, now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to sections 206.13 and 250-95K, applicant's request for a lot line adjustment as shown in the October 28th, 2020 survey is granted, subject to payment of all applicable fees.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
They need Mylar to file.
Right.
That's what I was gonna ask. This isn't complete though, right? It has to have like a signature block and all that kind of stuff, right? Or
Here's
is it
the
there
signature
somewhere?
block.
There's a signature block on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just need the Mylar. So I can sign it. Okay, you'll have to get that to us, okay?
Okay, yep, will do.
And Jack, just make that a condition on it.
Okay. Got
Throw
it.
that on the end that they have to have the Mylar.
Yep,
Yes,
got it.
okay? All right. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Art, yes?
Jack, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Sarah,
yes.
Tracy, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so moved. Okay, you're all set. Just get that Mylar to us and I can sign that and you'll be legal.
Okay, we will get that to you ASAP.
Okay.
Thank you so
terrific.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night now. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Murray site plan for ground mounted solar. Is anybody here for that?
There's 3 of them.
The lady's name is probably Laura Lee Rady.
Laura Lee and probably Erica S. stuff.
Okay, who is there somebody representing the
There she
applicant?
is. She's here.
Hi. Yes,
She's here.
I'm here. Yep.
Okay, can you let us know who you are and what you're doing and we'll go from there.
Sure. Absolutely. Yes. So, my name is Laura Lee Reedy. I work for Suncommon. Jeff Irish is the engineer on record for this project. He should be joining us, as well as Erica Barnum, and I believe Robert Murray as well.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if they're in. Arlene?
I'm in, Marley.
Okay,
Okay, perfect.
do we
Okay.
have everybody?
Looks like it.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so yeah, so this is just an application that we are presenting to you today for a small scale residential solar system. It is a ground mounted array. It's in the zone AR5A. It's on a 48.8 acre parcel. So we're just requesting permission from the board to install this small scale solar system. Within your zoning law, it's classified as a tier 2, as a small ground mount array to generate electricity to offset the usage of a resident. So the setback laws in your town are 100 from the front, 50 feet from the sides, and 75 feet from the rear. Our actual project setbacks are well within your project setback rules or laws. The front setback is 663 feet. The sides are 562 and 538 feet. From the rear, we're about 784 feet. So in the middle of a large parcel, and it is also surrounded by evergreens, dense wooded growth and hardwoods. So the system will not be visible to any neighboring properties. So yes, also the height of the system is under 10 feet tall. Your zoning law requires that it's less than 15 feet. So we are also well within that. And this would be classified as a type 2 action under seeker in 617.5C part 12, as this is a minor accessory structure on a residential property. And then if there's any other questions about anything, or if there's any other information you'd like for me to present, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
So on all of the paperwork, I don't think you have the right address.
Oh.
You're saying it's in Clinton and it's in Rhinebeck.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. We will get that
Gotta
correct.
fix all that.
Okay, we will definitely correct that for you.
So it's like on the, you know, the short form EAF and the,
On the drawings and everything,
yeah,
all
and
the
on the
paperwork
map
you want.
it says Clinton. It should the town of Clinton, but
Sure, but it's the actual address is
Yeah.
Rhinebeck. Okay, we'll get that fixed for you. I
Okay.
can submit everything for you with the correct address. Sorry about that.
Okay, well, other than that, it seems very straightforward. It's in the middle of almost 50 acres, surrounded by plenty of shrubberies and things to keep it hidden. I don't see any issues, and it seems really straightforward. So I guess what we want to do, Art, is go ahead and declare ourselves lead agency for seeker. It's going to be an unlisted, uncoordinated action. So I think the only two places we need to circulate any information to would be for the fire, right? And I was thinking the CAC maybe too. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Excuse me. Hello?
Yep.
Hi, this is Jeff Irish. I'm
Hi.
the engineer on the project. I believe under seeker, this would be a class type 2 action under 617.5C12.
Okay.
Minor accessory structure to an existing residential property.
So they're making a distinction because it's a minor structure.
Excellent.
We don't have to do seeker.
Yeah, 617.5C12 lists some examples of minor accessory structures, and they're all similar things to this, like sheds.
Can you give me that? Can you give that to me again?
Yes, it's 617.5C12, which is the list of type 2 actions under seeker.
Okay. All right, well, so if we don't have to do that, then can we just go ahead with this?
Yeah, I believe it would save you some work.
Well,
Tracy,
the local law requires that we do site plan
Right.
review, which also includes a seeker review, and also includes a hearing. So that's what our local solar law says. So it's not going to be a very onerous seeker review, but it does require it. And it may be true that the law should be amended to say this is type 2, but it doesn't really say that. So we've been holding hearings for all of these. You know, this one seems almost perfect in terms of how it's set up. I don't think anybody's going to object to this, but I mean, we have held hearings on all the other ones we've done, and site plan review doesn't give us discretion to waive the hearing. So I think, we're going to have another meeting where this is, we have a public hearing, and then we can, go ahead and approve it.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give you that option because the state.
Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense what you're saying. It's
Yep.
just, we don't really, I don't think we have the option though.
Okay, I understand.
Stacy, we can set the public hearing.
Okay.
Ourselves, lead agency, set the public hearing. How much time do you need, Arlene?
It depends whether it's going to be coordinated or uncoordinated. Coordinated calls for 30 days.
No, it's uncoordinated.
Uncoordinated.
So,
Can we do it in 2 weeks?
but hold on a second, because the regulation calls for number 5, letter D, the square footage of the ground-mounted panel shall not exceed the principal building footprints. I think we have to make sure that everything, all this category, the square footage and everything, that it doesn't.
For the square footage of the array, it's 2 arrays, each consists of 36 modules. It's 653.5 square feet per array, for a total of 1,307 square feet for the entirety of the array. Should be less than the dwelling. Let me get the dwelling square footage for you really quick.
Good map.
Yes, Laura Lee, I see it. It's on the abutting parcel map. It's a footprint of the house is 1,789 square feet. So the
Correct.
square footage of the array is less than the square footage of the main dwelling.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. And that's on the abutting parcel map that we're looking at right now. Yep.
All right. Just want to note that on the resolution, Tracy.
I'm noting what in the resolution?
That the square footage of the array does
Oh,
not.
yeah, I did that already. Yeah.
All right, we could do the lead agency and the interested agencies.
So, well, can I make a resolution to declare ourselves lead agency in this matter?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm doing that. I'd like to declare that the Town of Clinton Planning Board, it will be the lead agency for this matter concerning the Murray solar installation.
Second.
And this is uncoordinated action.
Yes. I'm
And
sorry, I
it's
said that already.
Interested is, what did we say? Interested is
The fire
fires, CAC.
in the CAC.
And did we say CAC? And it's a scenic, isn't it a scenic road? It's Mountain View is very scenic. I assume it's a so-called scenic road.
Well, I thought about that, but it's so far back, it's got nothing to do with the road.
That's fine. I just, I don't even know if we have a scenic road committee anymore, but
There is.
yeah, that sounds good.
We have a second?
I did, yes.
Oh, okay. Discussion? All in favor? Art, yes?
Jack, yes.
Sarah, yes.
Tracy, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so moved. Arlene, can you set a date for the applicant here?
Public hearing, hold on, I'm looking
Public
at.
hearing?
Today's the 17th, it's Thanksgiving next week. Everything is good, right? No changes on the map?
Yes, the map seems good.
All right, Laura Lee, I need, we only have 2 agencies, CAC and the fire department.
Yes,
What about the Dutchess County Planning?
I don't think they're gonna care about this.
All right. So just give me 2 sets, please, by Monday, no later than.
2 sets of drawings for you, Arlene? Everything. Okay. you got it.
So we could have the public hearing December 1st.
Good.
I'm sorry, Arlene, when did you say you want those 12 sets by? Is that by tomorrow?
No, Monday, the 30th.
Okay, you got it.
Sorry, not the 30th, the 23rd.
The 23rd, yes, absolutely. I can get them to you sooner.
2 sets, right? You heard her say 2 sets, not 12? Okay.
Two, yep.
Okay, so we'll have the public hearing on the 3rd. Is that correct, Arlene?
No, December 1st, Tuesday.
Okay,
December 1st at 7:30 again, Arlene?
Yeah, Trace, you
Okay.
can have the motion, Trace.
December 1st. Correct?
What motion? I thought we did that already.
No, for the public hearing.
Oh, I make a motion that we have the public hearing for this application on December 1st, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Justin.
Aye.
All right, all right.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
so, okay, we'll see you on the 1st.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll get this
Okay.
done for you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
you're welcome. Okay. That's, Fred, that's the last of the applicants.
There's 2 more people in the waiting room.
There's
Dean
one more
Lawrence.
application.
We don't need them.
Family LP. Don't we have BCDE Family LP?
Yeah, they're coming in.
Okay.
That's the last thing I have on the agenda.
It's on the back, Art.
I'm sorry?
It's on the back of the page. There's another one.
Oh,
Next page.
okay. All right, we got, is anybody here for the BCDE Family LP Wetlands Permit?
Yes, it's Doug Larson and Jacob Harden. Larson Architects. We're the architects.
Okay, can you briefly tell us what you're doing?
We're here. We came before this board in August because we would like to renovate a farmhouse that partly goes into the wetlands protected area, the 100-foot buffer zone. And at the time, this board asked us to touch base with the town engineer, Peter Sotero, which we did. We've had several conversations with him. He told us to apply to the state DEC, which we have, and that when we submitted the paperwork, our application to the state, we could come back before the board and hopefully explain what we'd like to do and hopefully pursue a conditional approval conditional on the DEC approval. I understand that we need to go to a public hearing too, so we're also hoping to move to the public hearing phase. So that's what we'd like to talk about tonight. We have some other issues we can delve into after you take this one up.
Okay. Justin?
Yeah, I think the only item on the table tonight is for us to declare lead agency under SECRA and to set the hearing. So Pete Sotero did a very nice and informative letter for us, kind of following up on our talk in August, and recommended, he made recommendations, right? We don't do that tonight, but that we will do a negative declaration conditional on the New York State DEC approval, and that this would be an unlisted, uncoordinated action. When we came in August, we asked them to, we kind of highlighted that we want them to speak to Pete Sotero, DEC, and the CAC. So I would propose just making a motion to declare lead agency and include the CAC, since the other two have been, are in the loop already. Does that make sense?
Does anybody have any questions about exactly what's in the wetland setback?
Yeah, why don't you give them a summary of what you said going back?
Okay. So Arlene, maybe you could blow up that plan over on the left where the house is shaded dark gray. And maybe, yeah, that's good, perfect. So you can see the pond, the wetland flags at the edge of the pond are those circles up along the top of the screen. And then the setback is dotted there, the 100-foot buffer zone is dotted, which travels right through the corner of the house. So what we'd like to do is renovate that end of the house and do an addition, which goes into the 100-foot buffer. We're going to need to do a little bit of excavation. We need to fix a stone wall that's there. And then we would also like to, there's a shed that you can see just north of that, bedroom wing that we'd like to move over out of the buffer and repurpose as a pool house. There's also a little bit of trenching that's going to need to happen in the buffer. You can see that sort of in the middle of the screen because we need a new septic infrastructure for the entire property. So that's what you see down at the lower part of the screen is 2 septic fields, which Rennie Engineering has prepared drawings for. Those are out of the buffer, but we need to reconnect the existing structures to the new septic system, which means a little bit of trenching in the wetlands, 100-foot buffer. So really 3 areas of disturbance: the trenching for the septic line to an existing apartment, the excavation and addition for the master bedroom wing to the farmhouse, and then moving the shed out of the wetlands buffer. Those 3 are the major things that are in the buffer.
So the only comment I wanted to make was, the law doesn't require a hearing for these things. But I agree with Justin about the CAC referral. So maybe to give them time to look at this project, we would maybe put it over to the next meeting anyway. So a hearing doesn't really, set it back very much. But I just thought I'd point out, Pete said in his memo, set the hearing, but we're not required to set a hearing if we don't think it's, worthwhile. But it might be worthwhile here.
Where do you stand with the DEC on the?
We have submitted, but we have not heard anything back.
Okay.
And there's apparently there's a backlog because of the examiners have been repurposed as contact tracers, but we're hoping that the engineers, Rennie Engineering, are checking with them. So we're hoping that as soon as they reply, we can settle with them. And then we've talked to the building inspector, and he said he would issue a permit as soon as the DEC permit comes through, pending, if you gave us a conditional approval, we could move right to building permit once the DEC approval came through.
I do want to note that the first step was the wetland validation map and having the wetlands flagged, and the DEC has validated those mapped wetlands on the property. So we do have action from the DEC on that component.
But they have not issued a work permit per se.
Correct. They have not responded to our application.
Are you expecting them to before December 1st?
We don't really know. We would just rather not come back to you after they get back to us. We'd rather get one hurdle over with.
Well, having worked with the DEC on permits myself, if they do not issue a work permit, we're kind of stuck here. They really kind of take, as far as I'm concerned, they kind of take the lead on this. If they say no, it would be hard, I think, for us to say yes. But you seem to have done an awful lot of work. You've got them flagged. They'll probably, I would imagine, come in with a set of standards that you would have to adhere to during construction.
Renia Engineering has already prepared that erosion and sediment control plan.
But they haven't gotten back to you with what they would want.
No, and it was Peter's opinion was that they're not going to have a problem with it. It's all maintained as lawn, and there's a steep slope to the pond. It's really not. There's no wetlands vegetation between the house and the pond. That's why the wetlands boundary is right at the water line.
Right.
We could look at the aerial photograph if that helps. I think it's, Jacob, is it the second or third page in our set of drawings?
I believe it's the second page. Yes, second page. A-1.
The building inspector has been out to meet us. And, we talked about, well, we could start on the project out of the 80% of the house is outspectored. Would rather not dig the foundation twice. We're in the process of applying for the septic system right now with the county, so that work may proceed. It's far from the buffer, except for the last connection to the existing accessory apartment.
Well, what does the board think? We can do lead agency and set a hearing, or I guess the other option is to declare lead agency, issue a negative declaration, and then I can try to formulate a conditional approval.
Sounds logical.
Did you want the?
I'm skeptical that something's going to happen between now and December 1st, given the holiday that's about to happen. But it just seems like that's more consistent with our normal process to, notify the other agencies. I understand that that's a burden, but
I mean, you could do the circulation and not, if we don't feel we need a hearing, you could do all the circulations and give them time, to comment, and we don't have to have a hearing, or if the board feels we should have a hearing. I think with most of the water law things so far, we've not done a hearing that I can recall, but yeah, you could circulate to CAC and DEC and anybody else. And you're absolutely, yeah, and nothing's likely to happen. And then ultimately it'll be a conditional approval. And they'd have to still wait for the DEC.
While Arlene's looking, I might as well raise the other issues unless you'd like to continue.
I'm sorry. Doug, is it from the old submission or the last one?
It was the latest submission, the Dropbox link that Jacob sent.
Oh, did you send me the PDF?
Jacob, did we send PDF or just the Dropbox link?
We sent the Dropbox link. I can forward you the.
I did not download that link. Okay, hold on.
Jacob can forward it to you right now if you, so you have it.
Okay, I can find it right away.
So I'll use the downtime while we're waiting. The other issues are, you'll see when you see the aerial photograph, there's an A-frame structure. This property used to be a camp. So there's an A-frame structure that must have been used by a counselor or a nurse or something, and the owners would like to demolish it. And it's our understanding after looking at the town website and the town codes that we need to go to the planning board to apply for demolition of a structure. But it's not clear to us what happens after that because there's also a building permit application to demolish, which is different than the planning board application to demolish. So we're looking for some guidance from you folks as to what the procedure is. And if we need to come back to a meeting for that, or you tell us what we need to do to demolish that A-frame. It's not a historic structure unless you have a special view of the 1960s.
Got to be some historic structures from the 60s, but this is probably not one of them.
So that's issue number one, which we can look at when we get the screen up. The other issue, the third issue, is the shed that I was referring to that we'd like to move out of the wetlands. The owner would like to repurpose it as a pool house outside of the wetlands buffer, so that it's a little unclear to us what approvals are required to have a pool house. Is it just a building permit, or do we need a special permit if it has plumbing in it? The code does not list pool houses as under the accessory section. So it's not really in the chart of permitted or special use permit. The building inspector sent us a memo that said if a pool house has a bathroom or a kitchen in it, it needs a special permit. But it didn't say anything about what defines a bathroom or a kitchen. So we're just looking for guidance from you folks as well on that. What process would you like us to go through to apply for a pool house?
We have to sign off on pool houses. We just went through this with another property, and the ZBA has issued a ruling, if memory serves, that a pool house can have plumbing for a bathroom in it. But I think it probably still requires an application, as does the demolition, I think.
So that would be planning board special use permit or just planning board approval?
You have to have a pool.
So does that mean we need to construct the pool first?
Well, you can't have a pool house without a
Yeah,
pool. How are you gonna have a
It would have to, right, it has to go with a pool, otherwise.
Right, no, of course, there'll be a pool, but do we
So-
need to build the pool before we apply for the pool house?
Of course, I think.
I think this has been an issue in the town with water going into accessory buildings, and they did carve out an exception for pool houses, but I think, you probably would be pushing it if you said this is a pool house, but there's no pool yet. It would probably not, be something they would be willing to agree to.
Does that mean we need to get excavation equipment in there twice? Once to build the pool and a second time to build the pool house?
Well, you can move the building to where the pool is going to be, and that part of it, as long as you don't put the water in, you would be able. That's just a building permit issue. But if you were going to put the water in, it would have to be classified. It would have to be classified as a pool house, so there'd have to be a pool. See what I'm saying?
So we could apply for a building permit for a pool and a pool house.
Yeah,
a pool and a shed, and then come back for a special permit to turn the shed into a pool house.
Well, you could do that. The only issue you have to be careful about is you're only allowed 3 accessory structures. And the pool and the shed, depending on the size, are both accessory structures. So if you a pool and a pool house together are considered one accessory structure. So if you're running up against the 3 structure limit, which you probably are, you would probably have them done together.
Yeah, I didn't see that regulation limit of 3 accessory structures.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to apply for a variance because you've already got.
You're probably already over that, right?
Not unless you're a working farm.
I was gonna say, isn't it a farm?
I mean, they used to, I don't know now, it's under.
Pool is not a pool is not an agricultural.
Yes, but I'm talking about the number of structures they have.
It was a camp, he said, not a farm.
Not a farm.
Oh.
Yeah, the name is.
It was a farm at one point, and then it was a camp after that.
Everything was a farm at one point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Including 6th Avenue and 53rd Street. So.
Well, the Bowery means farm, right? Okay, so here's the aerial photograph. You can see that the, back to our original discussion, the buffer dotted line from the other plan sort of goes right through the northern side of the farmhouse, which is the largest structure in the middle there. And then the shed that we'd like to move out of the wetlands is off to the northwest. Right there, yes, exactly.
So if they don't want to hit up against the number of structures, right, aren't they going to have to convert the shed to the pool house at the same time they build a pool?
Sounds like it. I think you're right.
Especially if they want water in it.
Especially if you want water, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only way to get water in an accessory dwelling is if it is a pool house, I think, unless you get a variance from the ZBA.
No, or if you have an accessory dwelling
They get a special permit for, right?
and they have the acreage.
Well, they're
but-
getting rid of the A-frame. They're getting rid of the A-frame, so they would, if there's no other accessory dwellings, they could apply for an accessory dwelling.
Right now they have two.
There is an apartment, right?
Yes.
And there's actually there's 5 buildings with kitchens and bathrooms in them.
Ah.
So,
But they're abandoned, aren't they? I mean, they haven't been used for anything.
They're grandfathered in.
well, the house has always been used. The garage with the apartment above has always been used. It's still in use.
No, but I mean, has anybody lived in these apartments in the last 12 months?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, they have?
Yes, people are living in them now. Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
No, what he meant is it's continuous use. There's no interruption.
That's right. One of the sheds that has a kitchen and a bathroom is not habitable. But there's remnants, the kitchen is still there. It's just how people have, but the other structures, yes, people have been using them.
The point is that if the use was just, as Arlene was saying, is if the use was discontinued for more than, I think the rule is 12 months.
Yes.
Regardless of how long it was going on before then or any approvals before then, it expires. Basically, you have to
You lost the
reapply.
conformity.
So, well, we're happy to do anything you'd like us to do. We just don't know what that is. So tell me, we can go through the entire property, a master plan, and give us some guidance, and we'll be happy to follow whatever recommendations you suggest.
See if this makes any.
How many dwellings? Go ahead, Art.
Thank you. See if this makes any sense at all, because we're getting kind of confused here. There are certain projects that you want to do that are not in the buffer zone. Am I correct?
The projects we'd like to do is demolish the A-frame that is not in the buffer zone. So that's one.
Okay.
Renovate the house, which is in the buffer zone.
Okay.
And move the shed out of the buffer and turn it into a pool house. Those are the 3 projects the owner would like to do right now.
Okay. So in other words, there is one project that could be done now without affecting the buffer zone. Everything else that you want to do is within the buffer zone, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And that would be, that's demolishing the, no, that's not,
Yeah,
Demolishing the A-frame is
The A-frame.
the one project that is only planning board.
okay.
And we did prepare a narrative for that, and we did include images of the structure in this drawing set per understanding for the planning board submission. The building inspector acknowledged that it would need to go to planning board. So he had just recommended for us to bring it to the meeting with us. This is the existing garage with apartment. This is the existing barn.
I think the next page is the A-frame, Arlene.
Showing the garage with apartment.
Mhm.
And the barn with apartment.
Oh, that's the shed that we'd like to move out of the wetland and repurpose as a pool house. First a shed, then a pool house. This is the A-frame.
Right.
So isn't there way more structures on this property already than they're allowed?
Yes.
yes.
Is it considered grandfathered?
That's the
Yes.
question we have.
Well,
Um,
let me follow this line of thought for a second. There is one project that you can do without a wetlands permit and the DEC approval, okay? And the rest of the projects all hinge on a approval from the DEC and the town's wetland water law permit, okay? Now, you want to build a pool that's going to add and a pool house, which will be the existing shed retrofitted. Do you have any idea where the pool's going to go?
Yes, we have that indicated on the site plan. Arlene, if you go back to,
It's the last page on that drawing set
It's on the last page?
Yeah.
of this drawing set, yes.
one more, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
So you could blow up the left-hand side of that.
This one?
That's right. So the pool is sort of the oval shape there behind the house, and the relocated shed is just off to the northwest.
Are they gonna have to get variances for their number of accessory structures for the pool and the pool house?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're gonna need variances because we're over the limit here of three
Yeah, because they'll
three structures, adding the pool house. I think we got 5 already.
It's
don't know.
not like you can't make a change. You can't swap the pool house for a pool, the A-frame for a pool.
yeah, you can.
You have to remove one and
You can.
That's essentially what we're proposing.
But aren't you still, I can't tell from the drawing how many there are.
there are.
Yeah, we
let's
might even,
let's itemize the structure. What do you
Okay.
have?
No, you're gonna have,
At least 4.
yeah, there's at least 4, maybe 5 here. But you're adding a pool and a pool house. So the pool is new. The pool house would be retrofitting the shed. So you're still adding another.
Well, actually, won't the shed be able, when it becomes the pool house, to count just together
There's
with?
one, yeah.
So in fact, he's going down 2 because he's getting rid of the A-frame and the pool
that-
house is a shed
Sure.
and it's gonna be now going with the pool. But he's still over right?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's still over it. Just looking at the drawing, it looks like it.
You have two dwellings, the camp. Is the
Yeah.
camp staying?
So does the previously existing non-conforming clause help us at all here, as long as we're not making it more non-conforming?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, like where that line is.
I think
Is the problem that it's piecemeal? Like if we just had one application, right, that said we're going to do all this construction, we're going to go from 6 structures to 5 structures, and we had it all in front of us at once, would that help us, or are they getting tied up because they're going to demolish one, and so they're going to go from 6 to 5, and then when they want to add one, right, we're going to issue we need a variance to go from 5 to 6 or whatever. That's what it seems like.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
agree.
it would be good to have one comprehensive plan with everything that's planned kind of submitted that way. And I do think the ZEO would have to rule on this issue of how many structures there are, how many structures there are going to be, and whether a variance is required, because that's how it's always teed up.
Well, this is the owner's request right now.
Okay.
So there's no other additional plans.
Okay, so the ZEO would have to, on the issue of the pool and the pool house and all the other structures, would have to say, look at everything and say, yes, you're over the limit, or no, you're not over the limit. Whatever his ruling is would govern this board and the ZBA. So if he says you need a variance, then you would need one. And if he says you don't, then you're good. He has the power to do that.
So how do we've initiated a dialogue with him, but I think he was waiting for this meeting because he hasn't engaged with us. So what is the mechanism to engage with him? Does it need to be done during a meeting, or is it done individually once you give the clearance for him to talk to us?
Arlene, he just has office hours, right?
Well, you have to really talk to him, tell him your intention, the real intention of what you're trying to do with the property. Like, what do you want to keep? How many structures do you want to keep? What are you doing? Right now, the one that you have before the board is the wetlands permit because of the disturbance in the buffer. That's why he's not, I think.
No, Arlene, we've sent him this package and this is what the owner would like to do. So, and we've reached out to him. So we're expecting to hear back, but we have not heard back.
All right, I'll follow him. I'll follow up. I'll tell him what that you want. You need him to give his determination of exactly what you're doing. Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's step number 1 is getting that and have that pool located on the map where you're going to put the pool and where that pool house will actually go. So he can get a firm idea of the structures, so on and so forth. I think, I mean, I don't know what the board thinks about this, but you might want to go ahead and since that A-frame is out of the buffer, at least you can get started on the demo permit for that, and get one part of this project done.
Okay, so that paperwork is actually here in the submission. So what would be next on that? Do we have to come back to another meeting for you to consider that, or do you consider it at this meeting?
I haven't had Arlene, have you seen any of the paperwork?
Whatever packet that he gave me, I gave it to you.
Okay, so have you talked to there should be an application that should come to us for a demolition permit after you talk to the building inspector, correct?
We assumed it was the other way around, that we come to you first because there's.
No.
Well, yes, so we did talk to the building inspector, Michael, and Peter acknowledged that it would need to come to the planning board. So that's how we came here today. And we filled out the planning board application aspect. And I fielded the question to Michael, which maybe you're confirming, is that he has to give a rejection on his application. So I guess that's we haven't really we fielded that question to Michael, but we haven't had confirmation.
I think Mike, we just met Michael and we realized he's new and he's still learning the ropes. So sometimes when we ask the questions, we don't get an answer right away. So
To the board, am I correct in saying we need an application for a demolition permit?
It is in here. The demo, well,
Here?
I have one, I have a demolition permit in my packet.
I think the issue is that it was not teed up for us that we were dealing with a demolition permit.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just
It's
in a
not, it's
packet.
not, it's not on the agenda as a demolition permit.
Oh, okay. But we
So-
have.
So there's no public, there's been no public notice that there's a demo, sorry, Art. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So what happened?
we're happy to come back. We're trying to get clarity on what the process is.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so they met up with the town engineer and the building inspector. I think that's what happened. So, and I don't know what happened to it. So that, I didn't realize that you wanna demolish the A-frame now. Because it's sitting with the wetlands right now. Because the building inspector didn't say anything about you guys are gonna be demolishing it now. So that's why you're not on the agenda for the demolition.
Okay, we can, Justin, do you think we can go ahead at the next meeting with the demo permit while we're waiting for the DEC and?
Yeah, I think, right, the demo permit is not, the demo's not in the wetlands, so we should schedule the demo for December 1st, right? To do that permit for the A-frame. I think we should just do the lead agency for SECRA and do a public hearing on the renovation. That was the agenda item for tonight, right? Just do that also for December 1st, since they've got to come back anyways for the demolition. And what I'm hearing is I think that the moving or the demolition and moving of the shed in the wetlands is probably going to require another wetlands review, or I don't know what that requires, but it sounds like it's going to be something and it's going to be multi-step. And so we should get that teed up too.
We did put the moving on our DEC wetlands permit. Moving of the shed.
Oh, good.
But that's not in our application right now that was agended for tonight was on the renovation of the house, right, in the 500 square feet in the buffer zone, which I assume that 500 square feet is not the shed in the wetlands.
We did amend our application and narrative to reflect the shed and the trenching. So we updated our narrative for tonight on our
The paperwork we submitted 2 weeks ago was this paperwork, including the shed and the A-frame and the demolition.
You only need one wetlands permit, Justin.
So maybe the way we're thinking about this is demo permit stands alone. It can proceed with all due dispatch whenever the next meeting is. So that's point one. Point two, the wetlands issues are the addition and moving the shed. That's got to be decided by DEC. And we'll do what we need to do at the next meeting, including a hearing, and we'll get that all wrapped up conditionally. And then the third thing is the shed to be moved and then a pool built, and you need permits for that. And that will be a third application of some kind, either for a variance or just a building permit or a special permit. But we'll figure that out once you get the approval to move the shed to begin with.
Are you moving the shed or are you demolishing it?
You're moving it.
Removing it. So can he do both the demolition of the A-frame and that shed?
Not demolishing, yeah, they're moving it.
Oh, moving it. Okay,
They have to wait to move the shed until DEC says go.
gotcha.
And once they get that, they can then say, okay, we want to build a pool and use the shed as a pool house. What do we need to do? And it'll either be just a building permit or it'll be a special permit or it'll be a variance. And especially, we don't know yet because they have the CEO's got to rule on all that. That'll be the third phase.
Right, that all makes sense.
Is that okay?
Can you tell me what the process is for that portion, the pool and pool house? Do we now apply to the ZBA or do you need to kick us to the ZBA?
No, you would have to go, you would have to go to the CEO or building inspector and say, this is what we want to do. That would be an informal meeting, phone call, whatever. This is what we're going to do. What do you know? they would, and, you know, can we get a building permit? And they'll say yes, or they'll say no, because you have too many accessory structures.
Mhm.
No, because you can't put water in the building, you know, without a special permit, whatever they rule, and then you'll go from there. They'll either refer you
Okay.
to the ZBA.
You said ZEO, zoning enforcement officer, not the
Yeah,
ZBA,
sorry.
right? Okay.
I think now he's a ZA, the zoning administrator is what they.
Right.
Okay, so so it's clear that he's the gatekeeper on that.
He's the gatekeeper on just about everything. And then the water in the pool house is okay, as long as it really is a pool house, as Jack said.
Also, your demolition permit, you have to have those attachment about the engineering. Why do you have to take it down? You know, there's those requirements on the check. There's a checklist on the demolition permit. Did you see that?
Yeah, we did, and Jacob has reached out to the building inspector, but
and the pictures of the inside of the interior of the A-frame.
we weren't
Yeah,
sure
so-
whether it seemed
That
like
is in
overkill
this-
for an A-frame.
Those pictures are in this drawing
Yeah, I was
set.
gonna say, it's all in there already.
Yeah, the
no,
picture,
I think it can be put on the agenda. I think it's,
but we were missing the statement from the building inspector. And again, I have fielded out several emails to Michael about that. If he needed to make some statement for this tonight, and we haven't heard back. But with that being said, so in order for us to move forward with December 1st, we do need that statement from Michael, is what we're saying, correct? About how he would like it demolished.
I don't think so.
We made some statement in ours just about in our narrative, but we do not have a statement from Michael.
No, it's just a requirement. The checklist says it's an engineering review stating that it's worth taking it down, not the building inspector.
What does that mean, an engineering statement?
That there, hold on, I'm trying to get the application. Paul,
And there were several different, because there was the planning board application and a application for the building inspector, which was a little confusing, the building inspector application.
Yeah, because the planning board just rules on, you know, kind of whether it's okay from an historic, you know, an architectural standpoint. And the building inspector rules on the logistics and the engineering and all that stuff. So the planning board just gives like a recommendation, and he actually issues the permit. So I don't think he's got to say anything right now, or, you know, whatever he needs, he'll tell you. But I think the planning board can rule one way or the other on the demolition at the next meeting.
yeah.
And then it goes to the building inspector, and he says, you know, I need to know, you know, what kind of equipment you know, whatever he needs. I don't even know what he needs, but you know, that's his province.
Here, hold on. Can you see?
I see a statement about an engineer. I just see a statement about how it was used historically.
Here's the form. Here's the form for the planning board. Can you see it?
Yes, it's included and signed in our application as well. But I don't see the statement from an engineer. I did see the plan regarding how demolition process takes place with the building inspector.
Hold on. All right. No, because going back, we normally ask the applicant about there's like a structural that it needs. Why, you know, it's just to validate why you have to take it down, you know, and the year. So anyway, just follow this requirements. This
Okay,
is
let's set this up for December 1st, please, and let's move ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll reach out to the building inspector for the demolition part. And Arlene, you'll let the zoning enforcement officer know that we'd like to speak with him.
Yes, yes.
And then I guess the wetlands, back to where we started. I'm not clear on where we left that. I think you said.
Well, we have to wait to see what the DEC says. That's really they're gonna come back and tell you yay, nay. And then if it's yes, they're gonna put some conditions in it, and then we can work off of that and hopefully give you an approval from the with the town's wetland law. Okay, but if they don't approve it, it's gonna be very difficult for us to approve it. Let's put it that way.
So what does that mean for us procedurally? Do we come back on December 1st for that hearing
Yes.
or no?
You get the information from the DEC, and as soon as you get, you come back to see us.
Okay, so we wait for the DEC, then we submit it again 2 weeks before a meeting, and then we come to you again.
Right, let us know when you get any information from the DEC, and then we can schedule you for a meeting, okay?
I thought we're gonna circulate this to the agencies.
But I thought we were thinking about doing it you can do a conditional approval, right? You can say we approve if the DEC approves, but that we would do that in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's in fact what the town engineer's letter says.
I understand.
Yes, we can do conditional.
But I'm saying I don't think we do the conditional tonight. All I think we do tonight is declare lead agency for SECRA, set the hearing, right, for December 1st, send it to CAC, and then on December 1st, we'll either have DEC approval and we can issue an approval, or we won't have DEC approval and we can do a conditional approval. Right? They're already coming back on December 1st for the demolition permit, so let's have them here once and do those two matters on December 1st.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. And in the meantime, may have information from the zoning enforcement officer for December 1st.
Does that make sense to you, Art?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
All right, here's a resolution. Resolution of the planning board of the town of Clinton to declare lead agency under SECRA for BCDE Family LP Wetlands Permit. Whereas BCDE Family LP has applied for a wetlands permit in order to increase the existing house footprint for new expansions and new terrace, which development will result in additional 500 square feet being added within the 100-foot DEC wetlands controlled area. Relocate an existing shed outside the controlled area, drenching a new septic line and, related landscaping. Whereas granting a wetland permit is an action to be reviewed under SECRA, whereas approval of a wetland permit is an unlisted action, whereas the applicant has already submitted materials to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and has been in communication with the town of Clinton engineer regarding this project. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby declares itself lead agency pursuant to SECRA for the uncoordinated environmental review of the BCDE Family LP Wetlands Permit. Interested agencies, CAC.
You have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I mean, should we list DEC? I know they already have everything. I'm just wondering, like.
Sure. I'll find
think we should
DEC and the town engineer. I'm happy to put all three of them.
Yeah, just so maybe they send us something saying, don't do anything until you hear, I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, good idea.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Art, yes?
Yes.
Justin, yes.
Sarah, yes.
Tracy, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So moved. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Art, motion to set a public hearing for December 1st for the wetlands permit.
Yes, if,
that was me making a motion.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, check with Arlene to make sure she can get everything out in that time frame, okay? Arlene,
Yes, listening.
can you do it?
Thanksgiving next week, hold on.
We already have one for that night.
I know. I guess.
Is that a yes?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll be working on Thanksgiving.
There's no requirement of a hearing. I just I'll just say that one more time.
Well, I mean, you could waive the public hearing if you want. It's up to you.
It's not, it's discretionary. It doesn't hurt because they have to come back anyway, so, but it's just in terms of your workload, I was just thought I'd throw that out.
You might as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Justin.
Okay, and that was I moved for a hearing on December 1st.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Art, yes?
Yes.
Justin, yes.
Sarah, yes.
Tracy, yes.
Okay, so moved. Okay. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you on the first. Let us know if you get any information from the DEC. Keep us informed.
We will. Thank you. It should be.
Doug, I need 2 sets, 2 complete packet of everything for the interested agency.
Okay.
Take your time.
Don't forget to put the location of where you want that pool, okay?
Okay.
Give us an idea where it's gonna be.
It is in the drawing set on that set. It does
Got it
show
already.
It was on there.
It's
it
on.
shows the location of the pool.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right. See you all on December 1st. Thank you.
Okay, have a good Thanksgiving.
And you too.
Okay, is Dean still around?
I am.
Dean, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, then I'm still here.
How are you, sir?
All right. I had my headset on, and last time I tried to use them, I didn't have a mic in the headset, so it cut out the voice. So that's why I was questioning whether you could
Yep.
hear me or not.
You're coming in loud and clear.
Alrighty.
So you have news for us?
Well, I mean, the last meeting last week, we passed the Airbnb hosted, non-hosted, law. And next meeting in December, we have a public hearing for the farm event law. So those are the 2 hot topics.
Okay. Did have you set the fees yet for the short-term rentals?
We are discussing the fees. Michael had a set of fees, and he discussed it with the with the building inspector, and decided to raise the one fee a little bit more.
Which one would that be, Dean?
He just thought that the work that was involved to have
inspection.
the initial inspection was a little bit lower, so he raised it, I think, $25 more. So I think it's at $175. Do you remember, Arlene?
About his fee? I don't know. Because
Yeah, the renewal is $100, and then the initial was like either $175 or $250. I don't remember because it's been a week.
Okay.
all the non-hosted has to go before the planning board.
Okay.
Yeah, the non-hosted is definitely more work, so the fee was already at a higher level, but the hosted, we raised up a little bit more because there is still a lot of initial work to get it approved. The renewal process is certainly easier.
Okay. Is there some thought to enforcement of this?
Yeah, I think we decided the chairman of the planning board was.
No, we're trying to impose higher fees, violation fees.
Yes.
That's the good enforcement.
well, that's another part of the discussion is the violation fees and,
Okay,
and so that's, you know, but obviously we're giving everybody 6 months to actually start the process. So some question as to the enforcement of having people even apply was of question, and we'll see. We did discuss with the county, and the county is willing to share the information because they're collecting the tax, so they know who's doing these Airbnbs. So it'll be easier to use the county's resources because they're collecting taxes. We'll know who's actually doing it.
okay, good. Okay, any other words of wisdom for us, Dean?
No, everybody should have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too, you
Thank
too.
you.
The events, can I ask you something about the events? So the events, is that going to be only applicable for the, remember going back at one point, we're talking about only on a county road or a town road? The farm, who's
No, it does. The law doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that? I thought going back, there was like a discussion.
At one point in time, it
Yes.
did say something like that. Yes.
I haven't read the final draft that you have, but so, okay, so right now we are, it's okay whether you're in a town road or in a county road?
Yeah, I haven't reread the product that was developed last February, but that was the last modification that we made was the last February, which Carol, I think, already posted to the website. So everybody should have access to seeing, you know, what the actual language is.
Yes, I just remember going back about the issue and the concern about whether you're in a town road or a county road, how will it affect your neighbors and everything, so.
Yeah, you know, the problem is ag has some exemptions. And if you wanted to limit, I think we would lose in court, but if you wanted to limit certain places like the Clinton Winery would not qualify.
Well,
And I think they would have,
9G, they have frontage on 9G.
what's that?
Are you talking about Adrian's Farm? They have 9G.
I'm talking about Clinton.
Clinton.
Clinton Winery would not qualify and would be in violation. But so I think we would lose. I would think that we would lose that case if we try to limit them. So the whole thing is the compliance with the different aspects of noise. Traffic, you're not going to really stop per se. I know that Adrian's Farm has been talking about trying to get some type of a speed bump or something to slow down traffic. So
How about them opening up on 9G? This way, this neighbors are going to stop complaining on Creek Road.
to do what about 9G?
Yeah, they have the frontage on 9G. Can they create a driveway there? Access.
To go across where their parking lot is? I think that's wetlands in the front next to
It's the parking lot
9G.
is right there, yes.
I think they were supposed to, and I don't know if they do or not, but they're supposed to direct traffic to exit out onto 9G.
Okay, anything else for Dean? Okay.
All right. Everybody have a good
Wonderful.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have a good Thanksgiving, Dean.
Take care. Good night.
All right, Art, I have other stuff there, Art.
What?
The minutes.
All right.
All right, Jerry, Jack, Justin, motion, please.
Make a motion to accept all the minutes.
Second,
Second, Justin.
Discussion. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, aye.
Aye.
all right, people, happy